Hello Virgo, welcome to Angel Wise Love Tarot. We're going to do your tarot reading for April. As we have Mercury retrograde coming up in April from the 21st, with the pre-retrograde shadow starting from the 7th of April, that's what I'm going to focus on for this reading. So we're going to look at opportunities. If there are any sort of slowdowns or glitches for you, let's actually look at those in a positive light and see if there's areas you could be focusing on to help things go more smoothly as we come out the other side. So I've developed my MercRetro deck. We're going to look at 3 key areas for you. Here we go. We've got the first one is reapply, and then we will clarify with the Rider-Waite deck and see which areas these are actually applying to. So what else do we have for Virgo? We have relive, and we also have replenish. Okay, so let's see for Virgo where we should be looking at reapplication, reapplying. Okay, so we've got the Emperor. Relive for Virgo, please. We'll put these face down for now and do one at a time. So, okay, and then replenish. For Virgo, please. Finish for Virgo. Okay. Right, so reapply. You've got the Emperor, which is Major Arcana for Aries. So this is a leader. This is someone who has authority. In terms of reapply, I mean, it could be something as literal as you've applied for a leadership role, for some reason it didn't work out, and perhaps that may have affected you into thinking, well, perhaps you're not going to get that sort of a role. So it could be as simple as reapplying for that role or something similar along those lines. Don't give up. Sometimes it's just the timing's not right, and actually the role's not quite right, even though it may seem to be. And I think, you think about applying for jobs and you might get job descriptions, or, you look on the website and you get an impression of what that organisation's like. If they're well known, then you've probably already got an impression of what that organisation's like. You might have a conversation with an agent of some description, and they'll talk you through a bit more, but it's still only perception. It's not actually about being in that role, and you never really discover what it's like and whether it's right for you or the environment's right for you. Sometimes the job's right and the environment isn't, or the other way around. So don't let that dishearten you. It could be that, as I say, there's something better for you, and I think because this is a Major Arcana, I think that could definitely be the case. It could be something that's out of your control to a degree, so it's like you need to take the actions, do the preparation, generate activity, whatever those things are. It may even be that you had a bit of time out to reskill, or that you have the skill specifically for the role, but perhaps you're not entirely comfortable with the way you present yourself, things like that. I think, again, it's, a job interview situation is quite artificial. It does not necessarily give a real indication of how you perform in the role. It can actually make people forget things, or things like that. But so don't give up. Think about that. And it might not be a job. It could be just reapplying yourself to something else in your life. It could be that you have an authoritative role, or you would like that, and again, or it could be that other things have taken over and then you're not showing up in that kind of way, and that's something you want to do. So again, it could be reapplying yourself to that, giving yourself time, thinking about how you can be a better leader, how you can step into that sort of situation. We'll see what else is going on, because it might, these things might all tie up. So we've got relive, and for that we have 2 of Swords. So it could be here that you have a decision to make, but you don't know which way to go, or you don't have all the information you need. So you've got this, obviously blindfolded person. They're at a crossroads. You've got the moon, so there's still some things that are a little bit in darkness, but I think they're coming to light. This is not complete darkness, and you've got sort of activity behind. Yes, it's sort of waters, but you can see some wave action, you can see some lands, you can see something behind that this person is not looking at. And then actually, if you see it this way, you might see these smaller bits as stepping stones, but you can see there's clearly something much bigger, a much bigger patch of land. There could be an opportunity there. So in terms of reliving, if you've got this choice to make, it could be that either you are resisting making that choice, and you might have very good reasons for doing that, or you just don't know which way to go. You just don't think you have all the information. You may need to relive something. Maybe, maybe you were in a similar position once upon a time, and you need to go back and think about, okay, what happened there? Or did I make the decision? Was I prompted? Was I too slow to make a decision? Did that then mean an opportunity went away from me, or did it all, when I stopped worrying about it, did it all become clear on its own and everything started to unfold? So it may be that, by reliving something similar in the past, you can actually find a way forward. So let's look at replenish for you. So we have 6 of Cups here. This could be as simple as replenishing your energy, because I think as we get older, it can happen at any age depending on how you started out in life, but you could take on a lot of responsibility and actually forget how to be childlike. But it's actually when you can do that, the magic happens, and it's very, it's just so easy to get bogged down with a sense of responsibility and being bombarded with sort of bad news all the time, or you obviously need to have an awareness of what's going on in the world around you and what's affecting you and what's affecting people and the planet and everything. However, sometimes you have to just kind of compartmentalize that so you can replenish your own energy, otherwise it's just exhausting. And so it could be that either you go back to something you did when you were younger, you could that's going to replenish your energy, or just kind of bring you to a more positive, open-minded mindset. Or it could be even spending time with someone from childhood. It could be being around people. I mean, sometimes you go back to people and you didn't sort of, people grow up and move away, and perhaps when you go back you recapture something of that, I use the word childishness, but that's not a negative thing. It's a kind of like, even if it's just, do you remember when we climbed that tree and then you fell out, and it's kind of silly and crazy, or just, do you remember when, depending what age you know these people from. I mean, you could have grown up together. You could have experienced major kind of life, what's the word? Life events together, or something like that, and you could have been learning to drive at the same time, or something like that, and you remember perhaps there was a sort of naivety around it. It was kind of like it was all fun, and you just wanted to go have a car that you could drive around and be seen in, and that's very, very different to being like, oh well, this is how much it costs to run a car, but I have to keep running the kids back to school, and and all that, and perhaps some takes the fun out of driving, as an example. So looking at this again, I think and it may be that you need to do this first. I think sometimes just get a bit of energy back, give yourself a bit of breathing space, relax, don't take on everything, perhaps relive something that will help you see a way forward, and then reapply yourself in this area. It's kind of like, I am allowed to take time out. I don't have to be this all the time, and I don't have to think about this all the time. I'm a human being, and then perhaps come back to this and think about, okay, I'm ready to move forward now. I've given myself a little bit of a time out. And again, I mean, if this works for you, it might be something you want to do again when we get the next MercRetro in around August or something like that, you might think, yes, actually, you know, we don't do this, we kind of plow through life, It's kind of, you know, if you see it as, I'm going to give myself these opportunities 3 times a year, that I am just going to sort of let go of certain responsibility or certain attitudes towards responsibility, perhaps, and give that time back to myself, because I've now realised by doing that proactively, in a sort of mindful way, that actually it then shoots me forward when things are, you know, moving forward again, the other side of the retrograde. So best of luck, Virgo. Do please let me know how it goes, and I'll catch up again soon. Thank you. Bye.